Hi, Geelong High School. How are you, Melissa?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me and effectively our current students at Geelong High School. It's a really great opportunity to talk about science, health and medicine pathways with you because you are an alumni of Geelong High School from, I think it was 2010.
Yep.
But now since 2010, you have spent a lot of time in the science, health medicine area, and grown up a lot, but also enjoyed your time. So if I throw it over to you, Melissa, do you mind telling us what you've been up to since you graduated from Geelong High School?
Sure. So I went into psychology. It was really a no-brainer for me to do that because I loved it through high school. So given I was still living at home and I had a local part-time job, I decided to go with Deakin because they offered it at Geelong. During honours, I had the opportunity then to run my own research study and I fell in love with that. So I decided to do a PhD. And I was lucky enough to be accepted into that. Took me about 3.5 years, but in the meantime, I started a research fellow position in anaesthetics at Geelong Hospital. And I realised, it's really been interesting. It's still in the psych area. And in the course of doing that, I realised that I was using a lot of psych clinical skills, which I felt like I needed to develop a bit further. So this year I've started my master's in professional psych.
Wow.
Yeah.
You are a great learner, lifelong learner, which I think is something that we all want our Geelong High School students to be, to love of learning and to be inquisitive and curious. Can you remind me, what subjects did you do during BCE or at least year 12?
I did the English. I think I just did general maths. I obviously did psych.
Yeah.
I also threw in there physics, graphic design, and I think there may have been one more, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. Was the graphic design your brain break and use the creative part of your brain to balance that out?
Yeah, well, I did the year 12 psych in year 11, so I still wanted to have my full study load, so I needed to pick up a subject, and I'm sort of a creative person anyway, so it just worked.
Oh, great. Well, that's a really good message to realise as a person that there are many different sides of you and you can feel that at school. How did was it good for you to do a year 12 subject in year 10? Was that okay?
Yeah, it definitely took the pressure off, I think, knowing that I had one under my belt already, which could contribute to my ATAR score. And I think that picking psych to do also made me just focus primarily on that one topic that I really liked. So it allowed me sort of to take the pressure off then doing my other units, which were sort of a less passionate kind of topic for me, I suppose, in the later years.
Yeah, fair enough, and good planning by you, and no doubt your parents and your teachers working together. So since you've been at Deakin since 2010, mainly as a student as well as working at Barwon Health.
Yes.
What is it that you're doing at Barwon Health?
So I'm a research fellow in anaesthetics. So what that actually means is that I am involved in setting up and recruiting patients for national and international clinical trials. They also encourage you to try and develop your own research. So at the moment, I'm writing my own grant to try and do my own project. So yeah, that's pretty much what my sort of main job is.
Wow. So day to day you go in, well, you're working remotely at the moment. So you would be day to day, you would be working on the computer. Do you get to go into the hospital at all, or is that really restricted at the moment?
At the moment, it is a little bit restricted, but there are still some patients who are going through surgery. So we do go in when those patients are going through. My day-to-day can change. It's a very diverse field or position that I'm in. It can go from working on the computer, visiting patients at home, working in the lab with bloods, or actually going into the operating theatres. So I get to do a lot of, it's really interesting and very cool environment.
Did you imagine that that's what that would be like?
No, I never ever thought that that's where this sort of pathway would take me, and I'm actually really excited that it has, because it's a very interesting area that not a lot of people get involved with. And just because you work in research in the hospital doesn't actually mean that you'll be in that kind of environment. So
yeah, what an opportunity. Good on you for grabbing that with both hands.
Yeah.
Did you get opportunities at school, or what did school teach you whilst you're at school to help you now?
There were definitely opportunities to do like work experience and things like that. I didn't go down that particular pathway at that time. I think the more hands-on stuff came from the undergraduate learning, particularly honours, where it was that hands-on doing your own research sort of skills. But in general, I think school has really taught me that it's important to take feedback on as a good thing, and to take it on with the mindset that you can use it to improve and build your skills. And the critical thinking is really important for any kind of career that you end up going down.
Yeah, okay. It does cross over all types of content learning areas, doesn't it? Yeah, that's great. And so what would you tell our current Geelong High School students, probably from year 10, 11, those type of age groups, what would you tell them about what it's like to work in science, health, medicine?
I think particularly for women out there who are interested in getting into this kind of field, there's definitely been a big shift recently to encouraging and recognising female leaders in this area. So now is a really, really great time to get involved and sort of plan your pathway into this field. In general, there are a lot of opportunities available that I never thought that I'd be doing what I'm doing. It's really interesting, and it's very diverse once you get into it. So the employment opportunities are just very diverse and very interesting.
Oh, how exciting. Thank you. And that's really encouraging. We're doing an industry insight event around the Peter Mac Cancer Centre for our year 10, 11 and 12 soon. So hopefully they'll get to learn a little bit more about the other opportunities that are at Peter Mac, but also now from you about Barwon Health too. So it's in the time of coronavirus. Our students are remote learning from home for the second time. And it hasn't necessarily been easy for everyone. What's your current study load, and how do you maintain your energy and enthusiasm during this weird phase?
Yeah, studying psychology remotely is very interesting. I'm part-time at the moment, so that means that I'm studying 2 units each trimester. So in terms of maintaining my energy and enthusiasm, it really sort of it revolves around being organised and breaking up the day with different tasks. So in the morning, I might be doing uni work, and then in the afternoon, I'll leave that for research stuff. I've also got sort of designated times to get up and get moving, so it just makes me feel more motivated and energized when I do come back.
Yeah. Did you study like that when you were at Geelong High School, or have you learnt that over the years?
I think I've adapted over the years. I think back in the day at Geelong High, it was sort of, designating time to different units or subjects that I was doing, but I think I had a lot more things to sort of break it up as well, going to work or, having social life actually at school to sort of break that up.
Yeah. Oh, good. It is important. Hopefully our current students, given these lockdown restrictions, hopefully they're still getting out for brain breaks and doing some positive things, moving. And that might lead to my next question, which is, have you got any advice for our current students for feeling, well, what you do to stay positive and uplifted during this COVID time?
Yeah, definitely. I've actually learnt a lot of skills about this recently, and one of the things that sort of they focus on is doing things to promote the release of those happy chemicals in the brain. So this doesn't actually have to be big things. It can be a lot of little things that make you happy. So like listening to your favorite song or putting on your favorite hoodie. All of those things promote happiness and well-being. I also find, like for me personally, I've got my two gorgeous little dogs here at home. So I take breaks to play with them and have a cuddle. So that definitely helps.
That's so good. And those tips are so practical. I didn't know that about your favourite song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, well, my last question, Melissa, is do you have a mantra that you live by?
Maybe not a mantra per se, but I've learned a lot about not underestimating your abilities or your skills. So if something comes up that sounds interesting or you want to get involved with, then just go for it. You know, send that application, ask stupid questions. Don't be closed off to an opportunity because you don't know where it's going to take you. And really, the worst thing that can happen is that you'll end up learning something about yourself that maybe you can work on in the future to get you where you want to be.
Oh, that's great advice. Well, Melissa, thank you for making the time to speak with me and our Geelong High School students. And I hope that we can see you in person, maybe at school one day soon.
Yeah, definitely. That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you.